Hello and welcome to 52 Ways to Wave a Magic Wand over your social media pages. I'm Amy Downs, the Content Planning Wizard, and over the next year I'm going to be sharing different easy steps for you to take to transform your social media pages. So every week there will be a simple tip for you to follow to get a bit more out of the effort that you're putting into your social media, to grow your audience and your engagement, to make it worthwhile spending all that time on your phone and posting and trying to connect with your client on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever is your favourite. I'm going to hopefully make it a little bit easier for you. And as I say, I'm doing that by sharing a simple tip every week. Last week, we looked at the concept of planning. So I am sure that over the last few weeks, you have been thinking about your 2021 goals for your business. You'll have them clear in your mind now, and you'll know how you're going to achieve those. And what I would like you to do is also consider how those will fit into your social media. So that is last week. This week, I'd like to move on to the thing that I think you need to make sure you have got sorted before you even think about starting to write your content, and that is your ideal client. So I have a question for you. If you could work with anybody in the world, who would it be? What would they be like? Now, if your answer to that question is I don't know, or if it is well, I'm happy to work with anyone, then please keep watching this video, because I want to help you understand why it is so important to define your ideal client when you are writing posts for your social media. It is very easy. You are not alone. Trust me, I've been there as well. It is really easy to say, well, look, whatever work comes up, that's what I'm going to do. I will do my best and I will be good at it. But when you are creating content, whether that is writing articles, writing a podcast, creating a film, writing a book, or writing your social media posts, whatever you are creating the content for, you need to know who your audience is before you start writing it, because you've got to make sure that that is something that will resonate with them and that they will want to read, that they will want to watch. So that is why it is so important to understand who your ideal client is. So what I would like you to do is really think about your ideal client. It can be very tempting, as I say, to say that you will work with anyone, but honing in your ideal client hones in your own message and makes it more consistent so people can get to know, like, and trust you. So I wanted to share a little example with you about when I was working with a lovely client who produced items for people who had had babies recently, and we had a nice long chat about who might be buying those items, and we said it might be new parents, or it might be grandparents, it might be aunties, it might be uncles, it might be godparents, it might be friends and family. So we were under the impression, quite rightly, that this was an item that would be bought by lots and lots of different people. So we wanted to try and appeal to those people, to try and grow our audience, to try and give us more options for potential sales. So I wrote posts for lots of different topics, for grandparents celebrating how great they are, talking about how it's, making a nice gift from their grandkids and things like that. But what we found was that the message became mixed. The posts weren't resonating with anybody because they weren't consistent. We were trying to hit a different audience every time we put a post out, and that is not what we should have been doing. We should have picked one audience and focused on the message for them, because that is the number one rule in copywriting, is knowing your audience and writing your content for them. So with that in mind, I would like you to have a think about who is your ideal client. Who is it that you most enjoy working with? I'm going to share mine on the screen to try and help give a little bit of inspiration. Is it a man or is it a woman? How old are they? Do they have a family? Where do they live? Do they own their house? What is their job? What is it that's on their mind at the moment? I'll give you a clue. I think everybody is thinking about lockdown. What is it that worries them? What is it that is keeping them up at night? And because I know a lot of you will have already answered this question many, many times, I want to ask you one extra thing to have a think about. When your ideal client is on social media, what is it they're doing? Are they scrolling aimlessly with a glass of wine in one hand and their phone in the other after a long day of work, childcare, and non-stop busyness? Are they going on there to connect with other clients, with potential clients, with people to collaborate with? Are they on there to buy? I know certainly in the build up to Christmas, I spent a lot of time on Facebook buying items and having a look through people's pages. So anybody that shared something that made it easier for me to buy from them, got a click. What else might they be doing? Have a think about it, because what you want to do is you want to bear that in mind when you are creating your content, which is something we will come to a bit further down the line. So I hope that that has been of some use to you. It is something you need to make sure you are bearing in mind all the time whenever you are writing your posts. But also, by having these notes, it can then give you prompts for creating content. So when you're having a bit of a block, you can check out your ideal client. You can say, oh yeah, I remember that I thought she'd be thinking about homeschooling whilst trying to work. And you can write a post about that. So anything that you can think of about your ideal client, get it jotted down, because you never know what kind of content it might help you to create. So I hope that that has helped. That has been my tip number 2. Next week, we are going to cover number 1 product. So now that we've thought about our planning for 2021, we've thought about our ideal client, the next thing we need to do before we are ready to start writing content is think about our number 1 product. I know it sounds scary thinking about just one when you've got so many products and services to offer, but just like I've tried to do today, I'm going to talk you through why that can benefit you. So I hope that you will join me next week. Let me know in the comments whether you have managed to do any planning for your social media, as we talked about last week, or who your ideal client is and whether you've got them nailed down. I'd love to hear what your ideal client is doing on social media. I'd love to hear whether you've had a think about that now that I've mentioned it. So do let me know, and do come and join me again next week.
I got my wand, so I can spell my magic.
Good idea, Harry.